Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and it's Deb C, and place to be, it's Deb C. Bloop, bloop, that's me. Boop, Deb C. Hey guys, and happy Sunday. I hope everybody is having a great weekend and had a great day. Today was a great day because we went out to see, me and my mom and a friend of ours went out to see my nephew, Isaiah. It was his big day. Well, this whole weekend was his big weekend because it is his final show. He's a senior, so it's his final high school musical. And they were putting on Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and I'm so happy. He was cast as Charlie. So they have two Charlies. They have the Charlie this weekend, which was my nephew, Isaiah. And next weekend they have another Charlie, Aiden, and a boy named Aiden. And it was so good. He came out on stage and I cried because I was just so proud. He's a tenor. He has a beautiful, lovely voice, but he's such a kind and good-hearted and genuinely just talented young man. And I was so proud. He did so good. He did so good. So it was great because this weekend was great because of that. So I hope everybody is having a great weekend. I want to discuss something today. There are going to be some spoilers. So I want people to know that if you are going to watch this show and you don't want spoilers, then do not watch this. I will give my review first, and then I'll go into some spoilers. The TV show is Adolescence. It is on Netflix. It's a 4-part limited series on Netflix, and it is a masterpiece. To say it's 10 out of 10 would be not doing it justice. It's like 1,000 out of 10. It is must-watch TV. It is one of the best things that I have seen on TV in a while. We're gonna get into the story. I'm going to say this straight off the bat. If you have children, if you're a parent and you have children, particularly if you have sons, please watch this. I feel like this is something that every parent and child should watch together. You could possibly watch it with I don't know about young kids, not very young children. If you have very young children, I would say maybe don't. But if you are a parent, please watch this. This is a show that's not meant to be entertaining as much as it is meant to raise awareness on a specific subject. This was just, it's something that is a very important piece of television. It's storytelling. It's not like you just sit in front of the TV and it's mindless and you just get lost. You just get lost in it and you don't really pay much attention to it. This is going to affect you. If you watch it, I'm going to watch it again because it was just everything about this was just a masterpiece. I cannot say enough about it. I had heard about this on TikTok. From quite a few people were saying how much they loved it. Adolescence, when I first heard the title, I was like, oh, well, this is probably going to be about like teenagers coming of age or something like that. And if I'm being completely honest, I'm not a big fan of children. I don't want to say I'm not a big fan of children, but usually if it's something called Adolescence, I'm not, it's not going to hit for me. It's not going to be something that would draw me in. But so this is the story of Jamie. He's a 13-year-old boy. He is accused of, he's arrested and accused of the murder of one of his female classmates. It's 4 parts, and 4 parts is perfect. Each episode is told from a different, I want to say a different standpoint, but each part deals with a different part of the journey of the journey of these people, of these characters. And this right here, this is going to be a spoiler. I'm going to say this right now. So if you don't want to hear this, then turn it off right now. But I went in thinking that it was going to be, when I heard that it was the story of a 13-year-old boy who is accused of murdering one of his female classmates, Katie. I thought that it's going to be a whodunit. Like, did he do it? When it really was a why. It wasn't who did it. It was a why was it done. So the first episode, Jamie is arrested and he's taken away. He's taken to the police station. He is booked. He is, and he's interrogated while he's at the police station. He's given a solicitor, an attorney, and he is allowed to pick one adult, a parent who will be there beside him. He picks his father. And in this episode, he is scared. He is just, he's innocent. He's scared. He says that he didn't do it. But actually, he keeps saying, he says I didn't do it. But most of the time he says, I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. And then they show the footage of what happened, because Katie, the night before, had been stabbed. And they showed the footage. And before they showed the footage, Jamie's father says, I just gotta know, did you do it? And he says, no, I promise. And then they show the footage and it shows otherwise. And so it ends there. Second episode is when the detectives, a male detective, a female detective, go into Jamie and Katie's school to interview their classmates and to try and find the weapon. And this is where the lead, I don't know if he's the lead detective, but the male detective has a son that goes there as well. And his son, he's kind of like, he doesn't really have a relationship with his son. But his son pulls him aside and is like, hey, listen, this might be the reason why this had taken place. And the reason why it had taken place is basically what had happened was there were some provocative pictures were passed around of Katie as revenge porn. And these were seen, and I guess maybe some of Jamie's friends were like, ask her out. He asked her out and she rejected him. And she had called him like an incel, which is involuntary celibate. And so there was this culture at school, as there is so often now, of like misogyny and male rage and, like an Andrew Tate kind of manosphere. And he ended up, that is the reason as to why, supposedly as to why Jamie had done what he did. And it was passed off as like bullying. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. So there's that. That's what the second episode is about. The third episode, my favorite episode of the entire series was the third episode. The third episode is well, I mean, you do have three, but it's mainly two characters, two people, and that is Jamie and a psychologist. I believe her name is Bryony. And they're in a room. He goes from awkward to condescending to full on rage. And I'm going to tell you this right now. The young man who plays Jamie, Owen Cooper, if this young man does not win awards for this role, it is rigged, because you cannot take, you just cannot. It's astounding. Like, it blows my mind that this young man, this was his first role. They purposely wanted someone, a young man, a young person who did not go to acting school, who was brand new to the industry, to the craft. This was amazing. Absolutely, I can't believe it. It's just, it's making me speechless, and it's making me almost want to be like, just watch. Like, to be honest with you, even if you don't watch the whole series, if you just go on TikTok or YouTube and you just watch episode 3, it is mind-blowing, the talent that this young man has. Like I said, if he does not win all of the awards for this, something is wrong. It is rigged, and it's rigged. So episode 3 is the two of them sitting in a room. She has to interview him because she needs to find out if he, like, what mind he's in, and does he understand the charges against him. It's his. The woman who plays the psychologist does extremely well as well. But I'm going to tell you, his portrayal in this episode is chilling. It is, oh my God. Like, when this episode is over, you kind of almost feel like she feels at the end of the episode. It's just, my mind was blown. And then in the fourth episode, in the final episode, it deals with how this has affected his parents and his sister, how it's affected them. The scene at the end with his father, the scene at the end with his father is just, it is heartbreaking. Like, if you are not crying by the end of that episode, you are literally a robot. I don't give a shit what anybody says. If you're not crying, you are a robot. It's when he realizes, because in that same episode, he talks to Jamie. The family is going out. It's the father's birthday. And they think, well, we're going to go out and we're going to go out, and now my nose is all red. We're going to go out. We're going to have a day. We're going to have a fun day. We're going to try and forget about this, because someone overnight has written a slang, an English slang word that's not a great term. It's a slang term for, I'm just going to say, somebody who messes with children. So they get in the van, they go out to a local hardware store to get some like paint to cover this up. While he's there, a young man is helping him, and he pulls him to the side. He says, "I know who you are, and I know who you are, and I saw these pictures of this girl, and something like us men have to stick together, or we're on your side. We support Jamie," like as if to say that she deserved this. And he's just enraged, and so they get in the car, and it's total silence. They're driving home, and he gets a call from Jamie, and they take it in the van, and he says that he's going to plead guilty. And they go home, and the father is talking about how what did we do wrong? And his father had physically abused him. And he said, I was never going to do that. I was never going to do that. It turns out he didn't, but there was a story a little bit earlier on where Jamie's father, I think his name is Eddie, says that, or no, I'm sorry. It was Jamie. It was during episode 3. And he said that Jamie says, I was never good at sports. I tried one time playing football, which is soccer, and I didn't do so great. And all of the other fathers were laughing, and my dad just turned and he couldn't look at me. And that can be just as bad, if not worse, than physical abuse, because this stuck with him, and it made him feel like he maybe wasn't good enough, and he wasn't man enough. So he wasn't manly. So instead of playing sports, he ended up on the computer. And the father was saying, I tried so hard. What could we have done different? And could I have stopped this? And because he was left alone in his room just with the computer. And what's out there now on social media is it's a cesspool of toxic masculinity. It's red pill culture. It's misogyny. And despite everything that he tried to do, this happened. And at the end, everybody goes downstairs except for the father, and he goes into Jamie's room, and he's looking around, and he starts crying, and he sits down. And he sits down on the bed, and he's crying. And from what I understand, it was supposed to be that he lays down on the bed, and that's kind of taking the place of Jamie. However, what he does is he sees a bear there, a little stuffed animal, a little bear, and he starts talking to it like it's his son, and then he tucks it under. He tucks it under the sheets, and I think he says something like, I can't remember what he said. I was just crying so much. But he says something like, I'm sorry, son. I could have done better, or something like that. And him tucking that in was almost like either that was Jamie, and he had lost his innocence. Like, he now realizes, after hearing him say that he was pleading guilty, that like his innocence was gone, and he was putting that to bed. It was heartbreaking. Like I said, if you watch it, and I suggest that everybody watch this, it will not, like, if you do not cry during that last scene, then you are absolutely a robot. You have no heart if you don't watch it. So here's the reasons why I would say watch this. Number one, the cast is perfection. The acting is superb. I said, Owen Cooper as Jamie is a star. Like, he is a star. Stephen Graham, who plays the father, who plays Eddie, he was exceptionally good in this. He wasn't like over the top. He was just perfect. Stephen Graham is also a co-creator of the show. It was filmed in England. At times I had to rewind a few times because I couldn't make out what they were saying in the accent sometimes, and I couldn't put on closed captioning, wouldn't come on. So there was that. Another thing, the writing, so good, solid, very good. Here's the thing that was extremely interesting. Each episode was one shot. That's it. One shot. So if you messed up a line, it wasn't, okay, we'll go back to the start of that line and we'll edit it in. It was, okay, we have to go to the very beginning and start the whole thing, which, I'm not a filmmaker, but I was listening to someone who watches a lot of cinema and had made movies in the past, and had said that that is extremely difficult. So when you take this into account, that third episode, when you had an inexperienced, when you had a rookie actor who was 13, who was, I believe, 14 at the time, and he had to go from one emotion to another, to like full on rage, where you had to believe that a grown woman was scared to death of a 13-year-old. Amazing. Like, it was all in one shot. And even at times when, like during the second episode, when the kids were getting out of school and it was on the ground, and then you see an aerial view, what they did was they got a drone and they flew it over to the crime scene. And the nice little touch at the end, this didn't have anything to do with the filming, but the nice little touch at the end of that made it just even more heart-wrenching, is they play that song, Fragile by Sting, which is just a hauntingly beautiful song to begin with. They played that, and the children's chorus that's singing is the chorus from the school that they shot this at. And the featured singer is the voice of the girl that played Katie. So she never uttered like a line during this. There were no flashbacks of her, but you heard her voice there. You also hear her voice at the end when Eddie is in his son's room. And just like those little touches are just just make this just a masterpiece. The reason why I say this is something that everybody should watch, I feel like everybody should watch it, but I feel like parents should particularly and especially watch this, is because this is about misogyny. This is about, like I said, toxic masculinity, red pill culture. Red pill culture meaning like men are taught to believe that women are just things. They're transactions. They're below you. And the whole 80-20 rule, meaning 80% of the women are attracted to 20% of the men, leaving 80% of the men who are incels, who should just, go for what you want, take what you want. And in the second episode, whenever the detective's son says what's going on, he says, so it looks like it was bullying. And here's the thing. While what Katie did was mean, did she deserve to die because of that? If anything, the ones that were bullying Jamie was his friends. And instead of him taking it out on his friends, he instead takes it out on the girl who rejected him. And the misogyny is all over the place. Just a number of things. Jamie says repeatedly, I didn't do anything wrong. He doesn't say I didn't do anything. He says, I didn't do anything wrong. In the third episode, when he's talking to the psychologist, he calls her a bully. He calls her a bitch, acting like she deserved it. He says things like, well, I could have, all the other guys wanted to do things to her. I didn't. That makes me better. Even just how he's even talking to like the psychologist. Like there is kind of like a condescending tone at some points where he's like joking with her, but it's kind of like in a patronizing, condescending manner. And then at the end, he's full on screaming at her and just physically looking down on her and laughing at her and screaming right in her face. The way he talks about his mother, because even though his father is kind of like emotionally distant from him, he still, instead of picking his mother to go in with him to the interrogation, he still picks his father. When the psychologist asks him about what his mother's like, well, your mother is a good woman, and all he can say is she makes a good roast, like she's a good cook. That's it. There's so many different little points where you can see the toxic masculinity and the misogyny. And this all comes from, well, number one, it comes from like his father, because even though his father didn't physically harm him, psychologically he did. He wasn't there for him emotionally. And also social media. It's crazy because the series started in his room where he was innocent, and then it ended in his room where he changed over from innocent to this monster that he is now. And a lot of the damage took place in his room because he saw all of this online. And then he went to school, all his friends see all of this online. So it's just a buildup of this like misogyny that all it took was a girl rejecting him, saying no, and his friends, oh my gosh, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And his friend gives him a knife, and then that's it. This is something that parents, I feel, absolutely should watch, because this is not an isolated incident. This is not just like, oh, this is something this is a mentality that's taking over men or young men in the UK. It's not. It's everywhere. I mean, look at it. All I gotta say is Andrew Tate. So if you are a parent, please consider watching this. Because like I said, I have seen people say, oh, it's bullying, but it is really not just, it's not that. It's something that in the way that today's culture is, this is something that is just disturbing, and it's on the rise, and it's more prevalent than I think a lot of people would even think. So this Adolescence, if you have not watched it, it's 4 episodes. Each episode is an hour. A lot of people might say, oh, well, but they don't, it ends without knowing what's going to happen with what happens with Jamie. Well, he says that he's going to plead guilty. I think we know what's going to happen to him. This was put out there to have a discussion. I don't think there needed to be a trial. I don't think there needed to be any of that. They wrapped it up very nicely in 4 episodes. Please, if you have Netflix, please watch this show. This was one of the best things I have watched on TV in a while. If this show does not win awards, I don't know what would. This is such an important piece of storytelling on television. This is an important message that needed awareness brought to it. So once again, Netflix, I 1,000,000% would recommend Adolescence. Absolutely. And with that being said, listen, tell me in the comments if you've watched it, what you thought. Let's have a discussion. And if nobody told you yet today, I love you. You're loved, seen, and heard. Please make sure that you put love, kindness, compassion, acceptance, hope, and positivity out there in the world. Please take care of one another. Also, be aware of your surroundings. Be smart and safe. Hydrate often with water. And if you're in a dangerous situation, please know that Dolly and I are sending our love, thoughts, prayers, and positive energy and vibes your way so you can make it through. I love you guys. I probably won't see you tomorrow, but I'll see you on Tuesday. Okay. Bye, guys. Bye.